Guys, welcome to our first Media Day of 2016 Rutgers football. Really appreciate you guys showing interest in our program. I know many of you were out at our first open scrimmage here last night also, braving the heat. Really appreciate your support of what we're doing here. You guys have given us great coverage. There have been a lot of positive articles out there that have helped excite the fans, excite supporters, and help us in recruiting. So I really appreciate that you guys have, again, taken the interest in our program and have been so supportive with the coverage and the information about what we're doing here in our program and getting it out there. So I thank you for that. I want to start and just go through a couple roster updates. 3 scholarship players. Ronnie James is not in the 105, had growing surgery over the summer and is recovering. He should be healthy here sometime late August, early September. Malachi Moore is not with us anymore. He had a pre-existing medical condition, and between his family, himself, and the doctors, they just made a decision it was probably best that he doesn't continue to play football. Thankfully, he's a guy that's got a degree already, and he's ready to go on. Very intelligent kid, high-charactered kid. He's ready to go on to the next chapter of his life and get into the real world. But wish him nothing but the best. And then Ahmad Ba is not with us right now. Hopefully he'll be with us shortly. Just had some paperwork stuff with citizenship things and making sure that he is eligible to be admitted to the university and things like that, not from an academic standpoint, but just some citizenship paperwork that needed to be completed. But hopefully he will be joining us relatively soon. We do plan on him being part of our team, and hopefully that happens, if not this week, next week. So those are the quick roster updates that we've had. A quick training camp update. Some of you guys have been out there to practice on the few opportunities you've had. It's been a very productive start to training camp. The first week is up. We've had 7 practices. It's been tough. It's been a hard training camp for these guys. We wanted to make it that way on purpose. It's been a physical training camp. The heat obviously has played a factor in making it a more challenging training camp, but our players have embraced it. They've worked extremely hard out there. We've had long practices, and we've gotten a lot done. And really happy with the way the players have embraced the whole condition of practice, the new location, the elements, the physicality, the way that we've been pushing them, the length of practices, and everything. We've had no distractions, and we've gotten better because of it. The players keep giving us everything that we ask of them. They're working extremely hard, showing up. They're early to everything, not questioning one thing that we're asking them to do, and I really appreciate that. And it's making our job easier. We've got a long way to go to develop these guys to be the type of football players that we want them to be. But they're asking, or what we're asking them to do, they're doing. And it's been a fun process, and I really like where this team is at mentally and physically right now. But in the next few weeks, we must, as a football staff, starting with myself, help develop these guys to be the best football players that they can be. With that, guys, I'll go ahead and open it up for questions and answer any of them that you have. Yeah, Ryan.
Your thoughts on the scrimmage yesterday, particularly the quarterbacks, how they performed, and if anybody stepped ahead in the first week.
Yeah, obviously I'll go ahead and just address the quarterback situation right away. Start with the scrimmage evaluation from yesterday. I thought it was a lot of really good work. It was our first 2-a-day practice. It was hot on the turf. It was hot everywhere, but it was extra hot on the turf. First want to thank the fans for coming out, the ones that did. It helped create the type of environment that we wanted to have our players be able to perform with other eyes on them and give us another type of evaluation that you don't get with just a normal practice. But overall, I thought the scrimmage was great work. We got in a lot of situations. I purposely wanted the quarterbacks to throw the ball more in the scrimmage yesterday. I wanted Coach Maringer to call more pass plays. One of the areas of concern right now is our ability to throw and catch the ball consistently, and I wanted to see if we could do that yesterday in that scrimmage and help us further evaluate our quarterbacks and our pass game. With the quarterbacks specifically, through the first 7 practices, I like the way the overall group is working. When I say the overall group, it's not just 1 and 2 or 1 through 4. It's the whole group, including freshman Tylen Oden. They're all working extremely hard. They're all learning the offense, and they all continue to improve. We obviously have a long way to go at that position. Yesterday, there were goods and there were bads. There were a couple long passes that we were able to complete for touchdowns in certain situations. There were some passes that we left out on the field that they were either good throws and they were not caught by tight ends and receivers, or they were just slightly off the mark from the quarterback standpoint. So if you were looking at stats, which I know most of you guys do, statistically it wasn't an outstanding day. Now there's a couple things to that. I think the coverages that we play on defense, the fact that we press our corners as much as we can contributes to that. We are a pattern match defense, and I think that we force the quarterback to make almost perfect throws at times. And when you're playing off or looser coverage, sometimes those throws are made, and there's more completions against that type of a style of defense. So I think it's not just hey, it's a quarterback wide receiver thing. I think it's also the fact that we're playing tighter coverage on defense and forcing the quarterbacks to make more consistent, accurate throws when we're out there. When you look at the individuals at the quarterback position, again, it's an open competition that we're continuing to evaluate. I would say right now that Chris Laviano and Zach Allen have probably gained a slight edge over the other ones, and we'll probably receive more of the reps with the ones and twos throughout this next week of practice. It's getting to the point where if we want to develop our first and second team quarterback, we have to start to give them more reps. And right now, those two guys have probably been the most consistent and earned the trust of others around them slightly more than the others. It's still a competition. 4 guys will still get reps. But those guys right now through the first 7 practices have earned the right to get a few more reps. And as we go forward, that rep count will probably increase.
Could you foresee a scenario where you make the decision this week on the quarterback, and then just overall depth chart, the entire roster, you expect depth chart changes, based off that scrimmage?
Yeah, we will today as a staff. We have not done it yet. I have evaluated the scrimmage on film. We have not had a chance to get together as a staff and go through position by position evaluations and talk about potential depth chart changes. There may be a few, and it's probably not necessarily because someone on the first line did anything wrong. I think there are some younger guys that maybe deserve an opportunity to get some more reps and create some competition. In terms of the quarterback position, when we hope to determine who will be the starter, I doubt it is this week. We'll probably go through this week and through another scrimmage next Saturday, and hopefully coming out of that scrimmage, we'll have a clearer picture of who's going to be our starter. I'd like to get a starter named where we've got a couple weeks out from the game where we're getting some consistency with the first group. But again, if somebody had separated themselves clearly from the pack a good distance right now, I'd feel comfortable doing it today. But I just can't say that someone has done that yet. But again, just getting back to Laviano and Zach Allen, they probably have separated themselves together a little bit more than the other two.
Chris, can this kind of heat work to your advantage as a coach in terms of you're trying to assess these players now and maybe see them in adverse situations with a little adversity, so to speak, on the practice field?
No, absolutely. I mean, it could be good or bad. And for our football team right now with where we're at, I think it's been a positive thing to have these elements. I was thinking about this yesterday after we just kind of finished up a 3-day run of really hot weather. I go back to when we first got here, and we went through the Rutgers football boot camp on the first week. We put the football team through some adversity. We challenged them. We put them through shared suffering, and it was for a reason, to see about the leadership, to see about the commitment, the toughness, and the things that we've had, or that we had as we were walking in here to help us devise a plan to build the team moving forward. I'm actually very thankful that we had the weather that we did this first week, because again, it puts the team to a test. How are we with our leadership, our toughness, our commitment, helping each other through the tough times? And I would say our team right now passed that test. And a lot of it goes back to, I was telling the team, we have trained them for these moments. And through the work that Kenny Parker and our strength and conditioning staff has done, and our nutrition staff, our new trainer Brandon Armstrong and his staff, what they have done for this football team to get them ready for any type of conditions and for these challenging situations, they passed it. Our injury list is very small. We have very few players that are not out there practicing every day throughout the full practice. So I can tell you that our plan up to this point and the way they've been trained throughout the spring and the summer has worked.
Chris, on the leadership aspect, what are you looking for out of your team captains this year, and how do you see that selection process going?
Well, I'm looking for guys that will lead the team. Guys that the others will look up to. I want captains that will be out on the field playing, because if you got captains that are on the sideline or injured, it's tough for them to lead. It's tough for others to follow them when they're not out there. So I want them to be some of our better players. I want them to live their life right away from here socially the right way. I want to make sure they're good students. So we have a leadership council that we voted on before. It was a player selected council, and those characteristics of that council will be the same thing that we're looking for in our captains. We will vote on our captains probably next week, and that again is on purpose so we could go through summer workouts and a good majority of training camp and let everybody get a really good feel of who our true leaders are. I'm more concerned about our unit leadership at each position rather than having 4 captains for the whole football team, and we've worked hard to try to get the leadership in those units the right way.
Coach, I have a kind of unique understanding of the last school that you were at, your assistant coach. And
I can't hear you. What's that?
I said I have a kind of a unique understanding of the school that you just came from and the expectations that you had when you got there, but now you're here at this school. I want to know, how do you temper the folk who understands what you can do or what you can do, so the expectations don't get out of whack from what fans think that because you're here, it's going to change automatically?
Well, yeah, I mean, everyone's got to realize this whole athletic department's gone through massive changes. You got a new football coach, new athletic director, new basketball coach, and everybody wants the same thing. I mean, we want a high-performing organization from top down in the whole athletic department, as well as in the football program. Those things don't happen overnight just because a new leader shows up and I've got a new title next to my name. It takes time to build any organization, whether it's in business or in sports. For us, we have to have a plan, and I think we have a plan. We've got to have the right people on board, and I think we have the right people on board. But it's just like physically transforming the bodies of the players. It took us 7 months to transform the players' bodies the way that they look right now. And I think our team looks pretty good physically, but it took 7 months to make that happen. We're not going to all of a sudden just build a football team overnight. We're not going to change their performance on the field overnight. It is a process. But I'm not going to make any excuses or change our expectations that we're here to build a program, not just a team, but we want a program that is successful and is competitive and has a chance to win every game that we play. And I'm not going to say it's going to be year 3 or year 4 or year 5. It's not fair to the players. It's not fair to the university or the fans. But, it is a process, and it's going to take a little bit of time to make sure that we get where we want to be. Now, again, maybe we can get that done in 2 weeks. I hope we can, and we're ready to go out and play once we play that first game. And we're going to keep swinging as hard as we can. The players are all in. The staff is all in. And I'm really excited about where this team is at right now. But it is a process to get them to be where they need to be as football players out on that field.
Coach, going back to the quarterback situation, and you talk about your top 2 right now. Obviously, Chris has had the experience with a lot of these teammates, from a year ago. What has Zach done in the short amount of time that he's been here to be thrown into that mix and to elevate himself into the top half of that group?
Well, I think it starts with just who Chris is, who Zach is. Zach is a high-charactered individual. He's very intelligent. He's easy to get along with. He's fit in well with the rest of the team. He's a likable individual. And he's got a comfort level of playing in a spread offense. I mean, this isn't a completely different offense for him. So his comfort level with the offense is a little bit different than the other players. Is our offense different than what he was a part of at TCU? Yeah, it is, but it's still some of the concepts are the same. So his comfort level, his understanding of it is slightly different than what the other guys are. But I think it gets back to just who he is as an individual, the type of person that he is, and the players have drawn to him, and he's been drawn to them. And I think it's been a really good relationship with not only the quarterbacks, but with Zach and the rest of the offensive players in particular.
One weekend with Darius, how much have you seen from him, and just how important is his recovery from the injury and his success for the defense as a whole?
I've seen a lot from Darius. I mean, Darius is ready to play. I know a lot of people ask why Darius didn't scrimmage yesterday. Well, because I'm not nuts. You know, he's one of our best players. I'm not going to get him hurt before we get to a game. And, you know, we go through before any live situation, and we're going to look and talk about players that may need to be limited or held out so they don't get injured. And we want to get our horses to the race, and he's one of our best horses, and we want to make sure he's there on game day. But he's practicing at a very high level. He feels great. He's not, 100%. He's not going to be 100%, but he feels as good as he's felt in a long time, and he's practicing a lot, and he looks pretty good when he's out there. He's physical. He's got great hands. I know this. I look at the offensive linemen that line up against him in practice, and I'm not seeing a lot of guys that have a lot of confidence in beating Darius right now. So, and that's not to take away anything from the offensive line. I really like the way our offensive line's playing, but I think Darius, his play is at another level, and he's feeling really good, and he's practicing extremely well. But I'm not going to put him in a position where he's potentially going to get injured before we play a game.
Does it say something about Justin Goodwin that over the course of 3 years his role within the offense has lessened, but he opted to stay here and stay the course, and he didn't try to transfer somewhere else for a bigger role? Does that say something about him?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I can't comment on what's happened over the last 3 years. I have no idea. I haven't gone back to look at how many carries Justin's had in the past or what he's done in the past. All I know is that Justin seems like a great charactered individual since we've been here. He's done nothing but work extremely hard, and he has a great attitude, and he's done a good job for us. I mean, he's a guy that we talk a lot about on the offense and on special teams of making a difference for this football team this fall. So, what's happened in the past is in the past. He's here. He's part of our team, and I'm glad he is.
We've seen Kemoko Turay wreak havoc on a game, really change a game. How close is he to getting back to that point, and what are your expectations for Kemoko Turay?
I don't know how far away he is. I mean, I haven't seen him practice yet. Since we've been here, he's been limited from 2 postseason surgeries from last year, both of them on his shoulders. Left and right shoulder got repaired, and it's tough to recover from one, let alone 2. There will be a time here this fall that he'll be 100%, but he's not there yet. He's not cleared to do a lot of things yet. He is doing some D-line drills, so to say he's game ready, he's not close. And to say he could be a guy that's going to be a difference maker or a game changer, affect the quarterback, it's hard for me to say that right now.
Chris, we heard you say the other day that you'll be involved with the defense and special teams since that's your background. But have you had to almost learn the offense like the players have had to learn it? Because obviously one of the things with defensive coaches is you're going to be calling the timeouts, you're going to be doing the game management. Drew's not going to be doing all that. So how's it been for you to learn the offense?
Well, I knew the offense. This offense is one that I've been around for quite a while. Tom Herman and I were together at Iowa State, and a lot of the concepts that we run are part of his offense that he had back when he was at Rice and at Iowa State. And then obviously being at Ohio State for the last couple of years, a lot of concepts that were taken from Ohio State's offense. So, the biggest thing for me, maybe the little terminology is different. Drew's called it different stuff from what we called it at Ohio State, so a little bit of that. But in terms of the concepts, the formations, the plays, the pass concepts, that's nothing new, and that's why I hired him, because I was familiar with the offense and had a pretty good idea of what I wanted that picture to look like. Thanks, Coach. Anything else? Great, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it.